Peter Elbow is far and away my favourite how to write guru. What's not to love about someone who starts off his fat book, Vernacular Eloquence, What Speech Can Bring to Writing, with this? I've long been angry at how our present culture of proper literacy tells us that we are not supposed to do our serious writing in the mother tongue we know best and possess in our bones, but rather only in the prestige, correct, edited version of standardized English, or what I will sometimes call correct writing. He goes on to say, many people have learned to manage or handle adequately correct English, but in doing so they muffle or clog their thoughts into language that's far less clear and interesting than they could have used in the language of their talking. Many other people don't even feel that writing is an option for them and feel excluded, yet they speak smart, eloquent, interesting things. And finally, even many of those who can write well are often reluctant to write, and they are continually distracted as they write by nagging critical voices. If any of the above sounds like you, then I'd recommend a dose of Peter Elbow. I take one whenever those nagging critical voices are bothering me. Unfortunately, though, I'm no longer sure what the language is that I have in my bones, as I've been doing correct English for decades and requiring that of my students too. Peter Elbow has 4 points to make in vernacular eloquence. The first is that speaking and writing are different physical activities and media, but as linguistic products, they're not all that different, unless you are comparing conversational speech with essay writing, which is like comparing figs with apricots. Speaking onto the page in the early stages of a writing project is an excellent strategy to find words easily, as we do when speaking to someone we feel safe with, or when we're writing for ourselves in a diary or journal. You can use a technique called free writing. Set your timer for 10 minutes and write without stopping. No need to rush or worry about someone looking at what you've written or correcting as you go. The advantages are that you get freed up and the work you produce is livelier, more engaging. For clarity and strength in writing, try carefully reading out loud to revise. Listen for how the words and sentences sound and for how they feel in the mouth, and then fiddle and adjust until you're happy. In contrast to speaking onto the page, this is an editing process, but both rely, Peter Elbow says, I can't actually bring myself to use the surname only convention. It's too funny to have an Elbow saying anything. Anyway, he says on the both writing and editing rely on the linguistic knowledge that we have somehow internalized and made tacit since toddlerhood. Let's encourage diversity in writing instead of maintaining the one standard of correct English that is no one's original language. There's a lot more adventure in writing these days, even of the academic kind, says the guru. But we can go further. The risk is, however, that we'll have an attack of propriety anxiety, the fear of doing the wrong thing, which, as Peter Elbow says, is about middle-class normalization. For example, the middle class generally hates noise, hates shouting, except, of course, at sporting events. So we're all to avoid writing in caps on the internet. Which reminds me of my foster mother telling me I sounded like a fishwife. Back then I felt told off. These days I take it as a compliment because fishwives, the word was first coined in the 1520s, fishwives were working class women, daughters and wives of fishermen, who hawked their wares in the marketplace and used strong language to do so. They needed to speak up and attract attention, so their fish was sold off before it went off. I suspect many students have an attack of propriety anxiety when they first log on campus and are faced with names like Foucault. If you haven't heard that name before and haven't learned French, how are you supposed to know to pronounce it like Foucault? Brené Brown, social work researcher extraordinaire, tells a story about the shame of being told off for mispronouncing a name. She was by then well beyond undergraduate student level, an oft-invited guest on the prestigious corporate lecture circuit. But that didn't stop someone giving her, and I quote, a bit of friendly feedback. And Brené Brown writes, if you're going to position yourself as an expert and scholar in your area, I think it's important that you pronounce your colleague's name correctly. When you quoted Pema Chodron, you said Pema Chodron. The correct pronunciation is Pema Chodron. Within seconds of receiving that friendly feedback, Brené had gone into a place of deep shame about her background. And again she writes, "No credentials or letters behind my name can change the fact that I am a fifth-generation Texan with imperfect grammar, the tendency to cuss too much when I'm tired or fired up, and an ongoing struggle to police my long vowels and colloquialisms. And yet, when it comes to an informative and engaging read, Brené Brown has it all over boring Foucault." Which is Peter Elbow's point. Using your mother tongue enlivens your writing.